Odiachi mejo nyame odiachi odiachi mejo nyame odiachi okaya hu mejo nyame okaya hu mejo nyame okaya hu odiachi mejo nyame odiachi mejo nyame odiachi okaya hu mejo nyame okaya hu mejo nyame okaya hu odiachi
mo bibi akwaba ediba Afro 614 radio so Saturday ba say ya na mo amunim say Oman Adwuma brena edru ene mene ekukuda mienu ene wa ha ye baba bedi nkomo but answer na no to say de bia amunim no me ba me ye no me ba dia na mamfa wo mo so masene antu dwa na say medi mu hwamo enti before then no munim say frame me Kumasi nyame Afro 614 ano aso egusu call all the platforms Afro 614 multimedia uko tune na uko Play Store Afro 614 multimedia no download ye your app no betime tie bibia wo ho nice ntina de course no Oman Adwuma brena waso egusu etimi fa maboafo entudwa inkwall ye adwuma ku bia de omo ya ne printing anything printing is inkwall anything printing is inkwall it is open color copies, open business cards, open envelopes, open brochures, open flyers, open promo items, booklets, cardless forms, open invitation cards, open rubber stamps, open photos. Ninyina eye Inkwall. Inkwall Ghanaian based company ewo Chrome Hanum. It is srew oba no ide what support to my let's support our own. So old photos be old photos I wo hono na say opese old photos no o reclaim old photos na horo na kese e the bow living room any size bia e be horo e the amount so wo pe outside Columbus now opese ship ewa be a wo bia wo United States he bia so ye be de ye be ship e the abro Eastwall Inkwall e wo 1900 East Dublin Granville 1900 East Dublin Granville Columbus Ohio 43229 ona Inkwall wo oba Mr. Kwesijima and na pamfo ombebo ona bibia akoso fe Revolt Africa app e nyum papa fi ope fresh music etia ona ese wo yede okona akuti fresh music we obi a utie mainstream music nesa afron wa ona ese okọ we artist now the wonyum ekogu other platforms so nese ye shelf wonyum na because you are not popular fabra Revolt Africa so the good Revolt Africa so how they all play all and your algorithm be the control it will be over app no so be or equal chance to listen to your song etina eno no answer na no me call me third bits for the day and say more how you cannot ask for external help and refuse to cut your expenditure. German ambassador to government. The German's ambassador to Ghana, Daniel Krul, has called on the government of Ghana to consider a cut in its budget expenditure whilst it continues to seek debt relief from the country's creditors. Speaking at the press conference on Friday, February 24th, 2023, the ambassador noted that Ghana cannot be asking for external debt relief while refusing to cut its expenditure. Well, of course, it depends very much on what kind of expenditures you are looking at. I'm convinced this is true. For if I look at the budget of the German Foreign Ministry of the German government, I'm convinced there are important tasks that can be cut without hurting the economic development. And I'm convinced without going into details, this is also true for Ghana. There are certain expenditures that can be lowered substantially and make an important impact, and it has to be part of the package. I mean, I cannot go out to the international community and say I need help, but I'm not willing to cut my own budget expenditures. I have to be careful not to cut the social expenditures that are destroying lives and families. I have to be very careful not to take measures that might negatively impact economic growth. And no, the ambassador will to me say anyway. And to us, there will be a person of commenting on it, and will be commenting on it. I feel guilty when I see my children working abroad whilst Ghanaian graduates suffer. Kennedy Japan. The member of parliament for Asen Central constituency, Kennedy Japan, has lamented the negative effects of the high youth unemployment in the nation. The lawmaker who is aspiring to become the flag bearer of the governing New Patriotic Party bemoaned that whenever he compares the living conditions of Ghanaian graduates with others abroad, it makes him feel sad. Speaking in an interview on Peace FM Evening News on February 24th, 2023, he said he always feels guilty about the living conditions of the Ghanaian graduates who are unemployed and struggling in their own country, because all of his children who attended school abroad are gainfully employed and living comfortable lives. The most important thing is how we are going to create jobs for the youth in this country, because I feel guilty that my children who are in America finish school and are gainfully employed, but here the youth finish university and has no job. Canada, Japan, so no. Your third story. CI briefing. Speaker sacks EC NIA official from Parliament over Jane Mensah's absence. Parliament last night sacked officials of the Electoral Commission and the National Identification Authority over the absence of EC chairperson Jane Mensah. Officials of the EC and the NIA had been summoned to brief MPs on the new CI, seeking to make the Ghana card the only proof of nationality for voter registration. The CI is also seeking to scrap the guarantor system and limit continuous registration to district offices of the EC. The Speaker of Parliament, Aban S.K. Barbin, had directed that the chairperson herself, Jane Mensah, appears for the briefing and represented at the highest level at the next meeting of the committee with officials of the Commission and the National Identification Authority. The Special Budget Committee on Thursday, after engaging the EC of the Public Elections Registration of Voters Regulations 2022, recommended the management of the EC and NIA brief the Committee of the Whole. However, during the meeting yesterday, the EC team was led by Deputy Commissioner Dr. Bosman Asare, while the NIA team was led by CEO Prof. Ken Atifa. The development got the minority MPs agitated, questioning the absence of the EC boss as they accuse her of disrespecting the House. Yes, not the all honor. Tidbits, no, and no. Medical woman, say me wo ekukudam me no bi e wo menchen. Me sabon kum so no me wo John Bat Ado. On Columbus, Ohio, NPP, New Patriotic Party Secretary John Bat Memoakwaba.
Thank you, my brother.
Right in front of me, so me wo Edward Smiler. Mo Edward de bia mo hunu ha. Me need Edward also our background in finance and economics. Me need Edward and so ena wa ha. Edward Akwaba.
Ja akumasa nyame.
Ja. Obi a hoye de.
Na adaroma. Yes. Moja di ahisane.
Moja di frusane.
Na
Ketremada abodwim.
Ketremada abodwim na yes. Ya da boko nyame no ke di asedama no.
Nyame ne hene.
Na ebe koso so achia Afro 614 atifo ana pa yese de bian so omunya so pati so utie so ana akoso a share se be ya onua bi so ebe nya bi atie na fe so de da meka ne se de betra ha na nche se yenkwa na nyansa wo yitrimo na ase bia yenim se wa utie no tete bia de bi na wona nya adwen so a wa akonya se ubetimi attest ya na ase bia ubetimi a friend so na so wa kire wa adwen.
Yes. Edward, no. John, over to your penny for now.
Yeah.
They all hold out so manako.
Yeah. Thanks. This is my first time I'm Miss Mabaha. That's for Aquinia we are or dear mommy. I mean, Yem Brana, Yembe discussing. Yeah, my Ghana issues are day in and day out. Baby so.
Of course.
Yeah, I share choir. Yeah, so you know how Kakrano. Between their tuja. In the first place, they made that what's a papa for the opportunity. Na ma tuncha kakraswa ma me MPP4 especially, but a Komagana phone you know mutie say they are my brother Eddie Kayano. Say binyansa ni ni enkwan trim say yeti he anti ya kan bibi na say one nya adwene your text message and I say will call I beba no. And so bit me ama you say yeah the two say akebebo.
Okay. Now before I ever console Mami Musao, me person describe your position here, Mami sebe ya my new mistake be the next time in Tino. Position here then ankasa che mu yeba.
Me na me secretary Columbus, Ohio, MPP chapter.
Is it strong here, the MPP chapter?
It is. But I think we were elected last year. Base na wo ho.
Okay.
So year Jumaden said it me are very strong. But
Okay.
We are quite good.
Okay. Me nipa bi ka che we say ese mo pa krachi for go a onye krachi ni a mo pese mo na join it. Is that true?
Any mom de obo. Me yes sure say sanity. MPP ne dey.
But your ben mic no mame.
MPP dey tell say ye ji obia. Obia wo mo bi because so we share your history na. Obeka say o empenyimfo bi na ehia ye na omo ye say you trace back to UGCs.
Of course.
Okay. Enti na sebe akrachi phobia omo ehia omo say no yenji ye man no nyeden ensi ho yenji mfree ya friend say abrofo ne nsem eno na ma omo kofa nkroma ne ade ba ya UGCs CPP be free money ade ba back and forth. But there is no way who bet me aye bibi without everybody.
Of course.
So bia den ehye bi enti obia ka ho MPP no obia ka ho me na me secretary.
Okay.
Oba me na metro odi.
Okay.
Obia ka ho dia wa.
Enti say me mu say ya enti me anwie secondary school kra. Ya ba mo baje.
Of course.
Okay. Bit me di mpanyin ni and I know they put either home.
Dear yana sometimes a man for can say MPP need certificate just say on kan ho ne ade. But only certificate be our scale. Ebi kra na ebi a enye say ba be ye penny bi to say bi ya ma ministerial position and I say CEO bi of a corporation and bibi. Dem mo maybe kra business. Oh yeah business minded person. Now so buying your power and then you have a good proposal which is viable. I mean who says
you ain't been from my own.
Yeah, you cannot be considered.
Me dey do be catch them na me so make community. Me busa o say una ye penyin bo mo no. Nti no. Yes, ye di dwumadie no e be sha ase. Ene nkomo a ye be twetwe no. Ye be di nkomo afa Ghana economy ho. And a very very broad. Nti kakra bi e bit be discuss bia no. Ye be discuss it. Yeah. As at now, no, we all know the crisis that Ghana is in. Let's start here free. Edward, so. Okay. Edward, as at now, you know the crisis at Ghana. You having a master's in economics and finance and you know the situation where Ghana is in. If we say what is going on, why is Ghana here? I know it's broad. Remember, I'll be 15 minutes now. If I tell you, I won't say more, and then I'll let my brother join.
Okay. Again, Yachia Atifo. Why are we in this economic mess? First of all, no, I think yes, leadership is a cause, and everything else is an effect. So we are where we are because of leadership. That is in a broader perspective. Now, breaking it down, we will 10 bullets. I just want to break it down. First one.
As more of a mamenian 10 minutes, Sebea can be easy back and forth and we can really discuss. Okay, go ahead, brother.
So, first one, a lack of compliance of the Public Financial Management Act. Lack of compliance to the what? The Public Financial Management Act. And it's saying, Ghana, there were a lot of regulations and our laws are govern how we should manage our finances. And if you have a government or a Ministry of Finance who doesn't comply with these laws and as acts now or the regulations now, it can lead us into such a ditch.
Okay.
Let me give an example. maybe I say the Ghana public financial architecture now providing legal and regulatory framework a guide the ministry how to manage your finances. Part of that, so we share the the Public Financial Management Act 2016, the Section B, Section 22, Section 54, 2B, all those act now. It requires the Ministry of Finance to give us a periodic evaluation, right, of our financial sustainability. So he's supposed to prepare what we call the midterm debt management strategy. By doing so, at each point in time, we appreciate where we are.
Okay.
How much debt we have, what the future plans are. But we had this minister and our ministry or government who were failing to comply with this regulation.
Okay.
So now we don't have a good appreciation of our debt situation over the years, right? And this is one of the reasons why we are at where we are. So the Section 60 of the Public Financial Management Act require the minister to prepare annual borrowing plan in line with what debt sustainability. When is the last time I hear who said the Minister of Finance I will give you such details and plans. So he took this act for granted. He wasn't complying to it, and he had now right. So there is last 2 weeks we were talking about the audit report. We see a lot of lack of compliance to the point to say a whole Ministry of Finance who have the biggest opportunity say any statutory and be a governmental payment to be will be taking tax from source before you pay out, right? But we had where they were paying millions of monies to unknown phases without even taking state tax, right? This in the same report, you said the Jeff Mix system also using a keep record of all transactions. He was violating it. So these are some of the things due to the lack of compliance to our state regulations and framework, are leading to what or where we are. The second point, a violation of some accounting principles. Right? I think
Oman Adwuma with Kumasi
over the time,
Radio.
He was being criticized how not present budget and other statement. In a sense, he decided to treat some government or public debt below the line. When you doing that, he do it deliberately.
And that's in your view?
Not in my view. That's what it is.
Okay.
Because the point is, when you report it as suppose, now you who say yes, this is our debt level. Then we will all be scared and we will all correct.
Okay.
But you choose to treat these public debt below the line. And a good appreciation of our debt levels. Right? Until say the IMF SD this whole thing they required them to report it according to that standard. That's why now we are saying say our debt to GDP is now over what?
93.5.
103.
Oh, really?
Yes. Because if you treat all these debt, the ESLA, the Sino Hydro, and the energy bond and all that, treat them as suppose. That's where we are now. Right? So this lack of per our Article 182, tell us what a public debt is. Right? Public debt shall include interest on debt, sinking fund payment, redemption monies in respect of that debt, and the cost, charges, and expenses accidental to the management of the debt. The public debt of Ghana shall be charged on the consolidated fund and other public funds. They say, who borrow money, say, Esla, say, Sino, say, whatever it is, Dache bond and all those kind of debt and loans. Now, present budget. Now we treat all these kind of debt below the line. Now make you look as if I say, Ghana government car. You are only deceiving yourself and the public. And those deceitful presentation, okay, I say a different standard. On now choose a way to this. But that preferred and actually your choice of treatment is misleading the country.
Okay. As a coin on open or fast or yen, man.
Yes, and it's a deliberate. He chose to treat it that way, so that to look like I say, yeah, can be a but
in the eyes of the public, no.
Yes. But so over reporting what you're supposed to report, how
bad the situation
how
is.
bad the situation is. Which he chose to treat them that way. And that's why we are where we are. Right? When they took over governance in 2017, near debt at the time was what?
120 billion.
Today, where are we?
I think it's 520
something.
Yeah.
How much borrowing? Just in 6 years. See where we have come from. 120. And then in the space of 6 years, we are over 500.
But say be obi so beka say o ya bobo sia de aye ne maybe.
Oh,
I say. Okay.
Me uncle in the sense the former Chief Justice Sophia, she was asking the right questions.
Okay.
So we share the amount of borrowing. Now, what have been achieved in the space of 6 years now? It tells us that most of the borrowing and the money they have taken have gone into consumption. Because last time I said, who borrow, no I invest no. Such a way say there are investments, generate revenue. I'm waiting I could clear back the loan now. And that's a bad loan. Right? We take key loans to say pay people. How do you generate the money back to go and pay that debt? But sir, a good policy like one factory. Anytime a budget goes to Parliament, there's a money allocation for it. Yeah, how many factories have we been able to accomplish a team produce an MIA export as we still remain as
a good question.
Import-dependent country?
Or 10 naso. Mama John Emremo answer. John, what's your bra? Also, what do you say?
Yeah,
Same question.
Yeah, I think he said a lot, but it's about governance, right? So you look at where NPP took power from in 2017, January 7th, and then fast forward, trying to improve ways of doing things in Ghana. So the government came up with policies. So you have, that Greg had about 5 policies, right?
Okay.
One, we have I won't mention all though, but I'll just give you, so they had planting for
food, okay,
rural exports and development.
Okay.
It's paid rather. And then we had planting for food and jobs, agric mechanization, which we saw some tractors being brought into the country for to our farmers. Then we had commercial agric mechanized, so you had commercial farmings and all that. So we had Ministry of Trade also coming up with planting one district, one factory. And it wasn't just one district, one factory. They had, I want to mention some few of them. They had export development strategy, which they had stimulus package, which was industrial revitalization program. So this program, for instance, the industrial revitalization program, it seeks to help distressed companies in our country, right?
Okay.
And then the one district, one factory, just like my brother said, very laudable idea, which so many factories, about 100 and something, have come up. But then the question is, he's an economist, okay? I have bits and pieces in economics. I have economics. I have masters in international trade and all. But then the question is, who sets up a factory today, okay, and makes margins today, okay? Or who even sets up a factory and then all of a sudden gets into the international market and is running? You understand? Countries are structured or are built, okay? And you build a country based on your vision. So I'm going to say, okay, I want in the next 15 to 20 years be able to be a master of this. So let's say all the supply. Let me put in perspective. So let's say Ekunfi juice. Okay, in the next 15 to 20 years, I should be able to supply the world with Ekunfi juice, pineapple, mango, whatever. I should be the leading supplier, not just 2, 3, 4 years. And even before the factory is set up, okay, government comes to power, that very first year it's not like you are even dealing with the private sector where you wake up one day and say that this is what I want to do, I have my money. Hey, foreman or contractors come, dig the ground, we are doing this. It goes through processes.
Okay.
You see, it goes through a lot of processes. So 1 year will be gone, 2 years will be gone. Even when you need some machinery would even have to be would have to be built from scratch by where you're getting it from. Okay, so by which time you bring in all those machines even into your country to set up the factory that you are calling for. So let's look at the 6 years in perspective. Okay, it's basically not 6 years in T, 6 years no sebe. You buy and now the factory needs you. Nobody does that. Look, Commander Sugar Factory. Okay, it took the former government, okay, how many years to set it up? And even when it was set up, they closed it down. Why? Because there was no raw material. It lacked planning. You understand? It lacked planning. We invested so much into it, closed it down. There was no sugar. And as we speak, we are now trying to even have a sugar plantation to feed it. Okay. Then again, the government says that, okay, then we will import whatever brown sugar or whatever, and then even refine so that we don't keep it rotting. Okay. So countries are built when you have a clear vision, clear foresight. Now the government's program is, okay, we want to move from the Gettysburg's economy into a more productive one. So we are setting up industries. We are setting up factories, which I believe is something that every Ghanaian, well-meaning Ghanaian, should support.
Oman Adwuma with Kumasi Name on Afrosis 14
We may not
Radio.
have all the 110 or 20 factories or even 275 factories working to perfection, but at least we may have 1 or 2 which will stand the test of time. And that too alone, Kumasi Nyame, that too alone, my brother, that too alone may even change the fortunes of our country.
Okay.
You understand? So it is just a support. When you go to South Korea, they had this chaebols, right? That's family businesses. So we had Samsung coming out of it, LG and all those guys coming. It took them time. Okay, we just didn't wake up to hear Samsung. We know where they've traveled to. When you go to Japan, it is the same thing. Panasonic, Toyota, and all that. Even back to Samsung. Do you remember when they had S8 or something?
The Note 9.
No, they had one phone which...
The battery problem?
It was giving problems.
Yeah, I think it was the Note 10.
Note 10.
Yeah, Note
I
10.
think 2016,
thereabout.
2017, 16, 17, thereabout. But the company didn't fail anyway.
Mm.
They had failed in one brand, but they are still robust. And today, if it's not iPhone, it is what?
Samsung.
Samsung is in your house. Almost every appliance is. If it's not LG, it's a Samsung. So what I would say is this. My brother also said compliance of Public Management Act. You see, we are coming from somewhere. I have the 2019 State of the Nation address. I cannot read it. Yeah, I may not be able to read all. But when you look at the trajectory, Ghana was doing well. Okay, we were still under IMF when NDC. Yes.
When you say Ghana was doing well, you are basing on what State of the Nation's address? That's what you're basing on?
I'm giving you, yes.
Okay.
I mean, when you look at the SONA.
Okay, go ahead.
State of the Nation address.
2019, yeah, nobody to me send them, man, come in.
So,
but not right now. You finish what you're saying.
That's fine. So we're looking at GDP, okay, the inflation, all the economic indicators. I mean, we're pointing to a positive direction. Okay. Then in April, we were to come out of the IMF in April thereabout. Okay. Then, I mean, COVID. So it's like your child is recovering from some sort of ailment. You could see little improvement, and then within a short possible time, another unforeseen circumstance, I mean, outbreak happens, and then because your son or daughter is susceptible to some of this, because already the immune system is weak because oyare kakra. Okay, then we are like, oh, you see, nobody, okay, attacks or plans for a war.
Of course.
Nobody. And this COVID thing that we are seeing, that we are playing with, okay, it's kind of a war.
It is.
Okay, it is.
The U.S. treated it as a war.
You understand? You are here. I had a doctor friend who had a relative contracting this COVID, and if I read the messages that doctor sent to me, I'm not a medical doctor, he was distressed to the extent that at a point he even said he doesn't think the brother was going to come out. Okay. I mean, what happens to the extent that in this country a nurse takes $10,000 a week?
It's not normal. It's not normal times. I do understand.
That is the point I want to make. It is not normal for a nurse to be taking $10,000 a week, but it happened in America. Why? Has it ever happened in the history of the world that airports were shut? So this is not something we should be playing with. That in the midst of COVID, Ghana government should be using gift miss, and you are dealing with internet and all that, and then at a point you say that, hey, the internet is down, so this. When it is a wartime, you treat it with the urgency that it's needed. I hope you.
I do understand.
So,
the 5 minutes I saw then I can go back to.
The point that we are making is our interest should be in the things that the Ghana government is doing now as we speak to take the country to the next shift, or to the next paradigm. Okay, so that we can say that, hey, Ghana is now doing so well, not just because we are always reliant on our past.
Okay.
Because there should be a future plan, and the future plan is to industrialize the country, which we are seeing today. The future plan is to ensure that the human resource of the country is developed, which we have seen in free SHS. You understand? The future of our country is such that we need to digitalize our country. You understand? So now you have Ghana Card, which we have all its ecosystem linked to it. Okay, so
finish. I have a question for you.
Yes.
Finish.
So now, I mean, things will formalize. It's taking the country so long a time to have the country formalized. Okay. The Ghana card alone, where we have the 10 number individual tax identification number linked to it. Okay, where we have your health insurance linked to it, you have your Senate linked to it. Okay, gradually you see that the country will do what? Will formalize, so that where the government has to tax. And I'm so much happy to the extent that even now, okay, gradually we are going to get all households or all, private individuals, or I don't even know how to say it, but individuals who own homes and rents them out. Okay, we're going to get them captured.
Okay. So the question that there's a statement that he mentioned. He said the finance minister. No?
Yes.
He was now reporting the accurate picture of the economy to the people of Ghana. Do you disagree with that?
I disagree with him.
Okay.
If he has done some accounting, if you have something on reporting below the line, okay, it doesn't mean it's not captured. So look at the Sino Hydro. Okay, you see, we are now building the country. The country has never been built. We are now building the country.
You are saying the country has never been built?
I'm telling you.
What do you mean by that?
If I tell you, when you come to America, let me just put it in perspective.
Okay.
Men can you treat in Ghana for your
Okay.
So over America, now you PhD. Okay. We now we are the best engineer in the world. Now we rock away. We more than our
Recertification.
And your recertification po more sebe. Say be a be school and they all say recertification. But more Acadia be or and send away to me operate to Crowe.
Like say Okasa Acadia, what is that like?
Young Crata.
Oh, okay. I get that.
But what must
say?
When you rock Crowe more here then.
Young Crata.
And on the fandom a pivot around which the development of every country revolves. Because and on a you who say, whoa, so now America for the no mind in such a way say, even Cecia say me bo within Cecia, I should be able to see where you live.
Of course.
But
of course. But that the previous government did it. The even John Kufuor's government also did that.
You see, it is.
So
not,
are you going to say
it
was not built?
It is not always about what we did and failed. You understand? It's not always about the failing. Okay, so now let's look at. I had a previous ID card, but to what end? Okay, say CRDA omuye seka 8 years now within that NDC period no. Seka omo to aso. Okay. Ena omo de enyoma shishe mu a nanka ye movie way ahead.
Okay.
Okay, Sino Hydro, my brother the buyer. Me person below the line budget we no can. You see, it is governance. Okay, Ghana government.
It is governance in Tiama government and reported wrong figures to us.
In the budget. It's not wrong. Just that.
But the IMF came in and said these are wrong figures.
And I say okay because I want to. Okay, Ghana moka modin including DN na amonye dey modia monke kan nyina mbom because even the Sino Hydro aye ka say bata. This is what we intended to do. Okay, now modia mo maye busia 2 billion no sika no kra ma mo mfa ma yen fanyi ye kwan bi no mo ne ade e be ma ye nkrofo ne ho ahen mo. Okay, na emom no yen no ye pese ye integrated aluminum bauxite industry. Okay, see within the space of my boy Bosiano, okay, yen ye best set up that industry no. Ye set up a ye bauxite na wo Ghana no. Yen ye be refine it. Now ye refine it ni ye tuamo with the bauxite. Okay, and unfortunately, COVID ba ye investors na ade no person who be share integrated aluminum bauxite idea in Oman because they were scared. They didn't know what to do. Okay, into omo ye say sadia omo relax kakra ni ade and as you see IMF for say ye mfenka ye ka ye die nyina okay and nunti that is what it is.
So you vehemently disagree with the fact that the finance minister was reporting some figures.
He has never reported
figures
wrong.
Okay.
They were the right figures. say okay Ghana ye car ye die nyina ni okay ye the way for car your friends say Chinese for car sa 2 billion no kwanye ni na aba okay e bia me fan say 500 million bi kra na aba sa 500 million ni enye car e bia ye betua through way bia on na mum e barter system no nti sa barter system no say you to me refine bauxite no a you to me refine bauxite na eno no bi ne bauxite no kwanya say ekoton but ye de eno no esika men kan say bauxite na refine ye de eno na ye be to say de cocoa kwa akutua bibika ye de bauxite na ya refine e be kwa common say monje
na barter trade in this era of the world we're still doing barter trade. Anyway,
it's interesting.
Yeah, Edward. Finance Minister reported wrong information, according to Joe Bat.
Yeah, so I found that very unfortunate because, first of all, no, I agree there are different ways of assessing things. The point I'm saying is, in as much I don't want to go back and repeat myself. My point is, there's a regulation, there's an act that should govern.
There's an act of parliament.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. I read it earlier. I don't want to go back and read it. That governs how we should manage our finances. Right. He didn't comply.
It means that he's gone against the laws of the nation.
Lack of compliance. I said two things. You said the first, I make it two major statements.
Yeah.
One, lack of compliance. And a two, the style of reporting.
Okay. Yeah.
The compliance, now we need to have periodic, right?
It's more of briefing.
Yes, of our debt situation.
You see, all these things have been captured or are being captured in our budgets.
Manini Uwia, then you rebut it.
Which he was not complying. And like he's saying, we're doing well before COVID kicked in. It was due to some of this misleading and deceptive way of reporting. So they report some of these things below the line, making it look like we are doing good, when in reality we are not.
But do you also think, say, COVID has played a major role in the collapse of our economy? At this point, we can see the economy that collapsed. Do you agree with that?
I disagree.
Okay.
Do you know why I disagree?
Okay.
Let me say this before. Right. You see, economy collapse. Okay. Untumintia workers crack out.
But that's what the president just said a couple of weeks ago.
We are paying our
the president said.
You see,
I think some that 10-15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. We remember.
That's what I want 15 minutes.
Yeah. For 15 twice.
Yeah.
So we all understand the effect of COVID globally, right? But I can say for a fact, and I'll support it, sir, the leadership of Ghana took advantage of the COVID. Some of them took advantage of it to enrich themselves.
Okay.
At the expense of just taking advantage of, the crisis to enrich themselves. And I'll support, like I said. We saw how COVID was handled in this country, right? We're giving stimulus check.
America has several accounts.
I'm coming, yes. The PPP and all different policies and innovations were brought out just to cushion the people, right? What happened in Ghana?
You know more to check sardines in there. Like we
and last week last week we sat here and we went
reviewed the
audit
audit report. Yeah,
we saw how they abuse and mismanage funds that came in as a result of the crisis. You saw it. The audit report is there. The money that came in and how these monies were utilized. To the point of, we have 10 million went into buying life insurance for frontline workers as we are speaking, if he can mention 1 or 2 people who have become a beneficiary of that 10 million life insurance that was so-called purchased. Because I know some nurses who were affected but have received no dime, not even 1 Ghana cedi. Last I sit here and say, in Kawato policy, you should know as and when you can even file a claim.
Of course.
And this one was monies that were readily available. As and why are affected and volunteer. You should have received some form of benefit or payment. You go to loot and share. 10 million life insurance in figure near branding. And that is what I think this government is very good at. Branding. The government is very excellent when it comes to branding. 1 district, 1 factory, 1 community, 1 dam, 1. You ever to this here and I look so catchy, so attractive, so good on paper. But on the ground, it's hollow, empty. Right? Until COVID, you know, we sat here and we realized the amount of money government, you know, could have taken advantage to really build the country as help us grow as a country. But we understand the bad side, the effect on our economy. You're overwriting that. But the question is it only Ghana? Why is countries like Togo, Burkina, and even those countries who are even to say should be struggling than more Ghana are not even struggling as we are doing?
Often countries we struggle more than we are.
Because Ghana, we have what it takes to be a better country than all these countries surrounding us. We always pride ourselves as a beacon of our democracy, blah, 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 gateway to Africa and all that. We see ourselves to be well endowed and rich, not to be struggling the way we are struggling. As of today, the only country that is going through a situation we are going through now is only Sri Lanka.
Yeah, Sri Lanka.
That is the only country
in the whole
world. That
2 of us.
And he has struggled away
at the level of.
At that level.
Okay.
The impact is there. Why is it just over West Africa? Is it Ghana? Ghana didn't need party also you go to that level. Let's ask ourselves. And when this effect happened, you know, Sri Lanka have had a better way of handling it. They have last time I mentioned the same thing. They had a better way of handling it. They didn't give their nationals no haircut. Their approach to IMF, you know, what did they do? They were negotiating for longer terms. That will kind of easing the way and manner you can maybe put your staff in place and then get back on your feet. We went with 6 years kind of proposal or approach, which, given the debt situation we found ourselves, then you have to take a more stringent and harsh measures to achieve. Right?
Right.
And the second point to that, there was a window of opportunity where the IMF or the G20, the international community, realized that due to the effect of COVID on the struggling economies, you know, they give them an opportunity to bring out a proposal, maybe requesting them to freeze interest and maybe payments. Guess what happened? The ministry lackadaisically submitted this approach late and it was declined. So they had an option which some people took advantage of. You approach, hey, given our situation right now, maybe I'm freezing your interest. Maybe I'm more postponed.
It's a forbearance.
Yes, things like that. We had that opportunity. But what happened? The finance minister submitted that late and it was declined. No way then.
To Oman Adwuma.
That's just a problem we have. And we don't know why the whole country is saying, say, this man is not performing. And for that matter, he should be sacked or he should resign. And nobody is listening to that.
I mean, it's just only one person that have to make that call. That's the president.
And here we hear people worldwide resigning. Why is it between the president and his cousin running this country into a ditch, and no amount of calling or worse are they ready to listen? And we are where we are because of the poor decisions, the lack of compliance of the ministry. COVID, yes, COVID. Didn't mean we shouldn't comply to basic principle.
Of course.
How difficult is it? Some may be or also me tax and sign me discount. How difficult is that?
It's not
to do. Payroll, Serbia. I want for the payroll even for less than 1,000 Ghana cedis to meet tax free before we pay them.
Oh, so who could post to the crowd post officer?
Oh, now say over can you say COVID in Tino? My country millions of cities ama family and cronies. Ama anti-tax. Is that an excuse he's giving us? It was a war on TNPS. Would I even taken taxes? Look, and let me tell you, Ghana is one of the few countries in the world that rather decide to sanction its people due to COVID. Today, Ghana and the country are up till date and still yeah COVID tax. Till date. Other countries, rebate stimulus, Ghana till date.
Yeah, Jeffrey citizens.
Today, up till date, and now restaurants how could do Ghana? Yeah, plenty system COVID tax. Hotel COVID tax. Till today. And you see, beginning no. Not everything was about free senior high. Anna, Kofi Antoata, Anna COVID by. Now we are blaming all the mess and the mismanagement of the economy now on COVID. And I say, a friend is saying, Russia, Ukraine, Abetum. And they always make it look like as if we are in an isolated country via, as the battlefield is in Ghana. You get it? And the COVID, it was a global thing. And other economies or countries have strategically managed all this very well. Why can't we as a country? Why can't we as a country?
I count 2 minutes.
And and then I don't want to go back. So no, how many years does it take? For instance, it's just funny, sense this whole agri ministry thing, planting for food and jobs, does it take 10 years? So, who could do a bra? Over to have a bro. And now,
to be at a system, things to put in place. Say, Bruno, maybe I best secure lads.
There is a difference between 1D, 1F, and then PFJ.
My point is that all these things have been branded, but when you go to the grassroots, there's no such even on the ground. And our individual be their own private year. Now our commissioner, they take the credit. They are show on national television. Oko maybe if you go so. Oko hunu. Our could be a yes, Ashe Bush be a woman 1D, one factory. You'll be surprised. And Oko, just say, I very say, I put on your crazy.
Mankind, I say, we got economy. And they ask me about mankind comments. Mamsi Darling, I'll say hello. Adams, Yoda, Ibrahim. Adams, no, I'm not going to accept that. I'm sorry. I'll say he knows for sure that the whole process was not for the benefit of Ghana. Are you happy with what the finance minister is messing up in Ghana? Even his own bank has collapsed. Joe Boy said Ghana economy is a joke. no system. Momsi Dallas say, what is the COVID tax used for, please? So, Opesa will join the show now. Yeah, the number better so, and then we will give you the chance to come on the show. So now I will go to my brother John Bart, and also the Atwas Unia Kasa.
Yeah, I think already so many issues in it even becomes very difficult for me to pinpoint.
Maybe I'll pass the Befabia. What you see in the economy?
Well, yeah,
because I think now only a situation. They say the fact that you are not accepting that the finance minister is intentionally leaving some things out.
But you know, this finance minister was adjudged the best finance minister, I think, in 2018 or 2019.
By who?
By Africa.
Oh, really?
I'm telling you. Okay, this is a finance minister we are talking about.
Okay.
Menka say sebe ebia dia waye nyina ye pepepe. But say the okaso ofigos. Okay. Na o say enkuko bo bi no me omusi enkuko bo no we hu akoko wo mu ana. So you see, how can you even a government policy? Okay, and many people do not. Let me put it this way: do not appreciate what the one district, one factory is. And when I say appreciate, I mean many people.
My memory was what was it? 1D, 1F.
Yes,
it's a flagship policy,
yes,
but by the government.
Yes.
When the manifesto was read,
right.
What was your understanding of the 1DF?
1D, 1D.
Yes. 1D, 1F. When they said this is what they're going to do, what was your understanding of it?
Was to partner private sector.
That was why
that is what is in the MPP's manifesto.
Okay. 2016 manifesto.
I'm telling you, that is what is in the manifesto. And this is what the one district, one factory is about.
Okay.
Okay. So it's a government policy, okay, to help the private sector. And in no country, let me put it this way, in no country, not even China, when China wanted to develop, the very place that they opened up was called Shenzhen, or it's called Shenzhen. Okay, 1 hour flight to Hong Kong. Okay, what they did was to set up economic zones. Okay, industrial parks to invite FDIs into that sector, and that is the boom we see in China today.
Okay,
you understand? Just I don't know. You can read on Dubai. Dubai was operating a free zone economy. People would just come, set up, export, set up, export, set up, export. Until then the government says that, hey, we are no more operating a free zone. Now you'll be taxed because the free zones, we're not taxing you. We're giving you tax holidays. Come in, set up, and then produce, and then export. The little ones that you sell within, we will tax you, right? Now, in Dubai, you've seen what Dubai is now.
Of course.
It's the toast of the world. Everybody wants to go to Dubai. Whatever you want to buy, you either go to Dubai or you go to China. Now, Dubai says, hey, I am no longer operating a free zone, but I'm doing what? I'm taxing you. You've already set up. You've already established. Where do you go? You are caught in the web. That is how countries that mean business operate. Okay, look, in Ghana, let him tell us, okay, how much what percentage of our revenue generated each year, okay, is even spent on infrastructure. All the revenues we have generated in our country is spent on salaries and monuments, those things.
But is that not what the government promised to do?
No, because one, you see, we've never been a very big economy, buoyant economy. Okay, everything was import substitute. So we wanted that one district, one factory to set the base.
Okay.
So the very things that we import now will be producing them. We were drinking, is it Don Simon or Don
Simon? Don
Simon or whatever they call. Okay. Now, just yesterday, this guy, what was the name? A+. He said, oh, you put your straw in the Ekumfi juice. Sorry, by the time you realize it's gone. It's so soothing to the tongue or to the whatever. And yet there. So now people are switching from all those foreign whatever to Ekumfi juice. Okay, now we export Ekumfi juice. It's on Walmart. Okay?
Ekumfi juice is in Walmart. America.
Just Google it. Just Google
Wow,
it.
wow.
Ekumfi juice is on Walmart.
What's the name?
Ekumfi juice.
Just a confused.
Yes, Ekumfi juice. Okay, this is how we build. This is how we develop.
Okay.
Okay, now look, we are talking about youth unemployment, right? You said about it earlier on. What is this Ekumfi juice if we're able to export more than enough? Okay, what happens to those who produce or who grows a pineapple, who grows ginger, because they add ginger to it, who does mango? Okay, if the youth are willing to go into all those sectors, then gradually they find themselves something to do. Okay, so now let me come back. Every revenue we've generated in our country, about 90-something% is spent on salaries. And you do know
me disagree, because I'm not disagreeing about the fact.
Right.
Because when we elected the president,
Yes.
he told us he's going to make sure he's going to protect the public purse. He's going to make sure we create jobs so people can work. So our salaries, 90% of our salaries are not going to be used.
Exactly what I'm saying. No.
So what stopped? We've been 6 years in this administration.
Let me put it. Let me put you.
What happened?
Let me put you in proper perspective.
Okay.
This is what it is. Okay. This payment thing that I'm talking about is just public sector workers. Okay. The security services, civil servants, teachers, Ghana Education Service, the police, all those people. This is what amounts to 90-something% of our revenue okay. So now the government says we are moving away from that system. I say obia we school also then or ya banye juma. Na sika kakra na so almost they are about not up to even 900,000. They are not up to 1 million. They are not even up to 1 million. So then the government says that, okay, if you're a private sector and you want to set up, you've thought through some ideas, they are brilliant, you want to establish, you want to grow, you want to do something for yourself, come through the One District, One Factory. Okay, even if you go to NEIP, National Entrepreneurship and Innovative Program, headed by Kofi Ofosun Kansa. Okay, come with a proposal. We are importing so much chicken and all that, but I want to do some small poultry farm. Okay, to even help augment our poultry needs. Okay, then the government says, come there. But everybody says that, oh, I want to be in the police. Okay, everybody says, I want to be in the police. Okay, I want to be in the soldier. I want to be in the civil service. I want to put on tie. Okay, so I don't want to do anything productive. When you come to America here, okay, how many of the businesses you see around, okay, are owned by government? That is why I was talking about the family businesses in South Korea and Japan. The business incubation. You have small idea, you want to do something, government supports you. If it is equity,
but is the government doing it?
The government is doing it. He was mentioning that COVID came and government didn't do anything. You should read on GEA, Ghana Enterprise Agency, normally called NBSSI. Okay, that is where government.
I think his concern was more of government taking money from the public.
You see, even in America. This water that you bought, there are some tax components on it.
Of course.
I hope you know. Of course. And there is no government, okay, that gets money anywhere apart from what?
Taxes.
Taxing the people. Okay. That is why the government said during the COVID that we know how to fix the economy. But when lives are lost, we cannot bring them back. Okay.
But do we actually know though?
Of course, that's what we are doing. So you see, immediately after the COVID, okay, 2022 budget, okay, the foreigners who have invested in your country, they want to see a smooth sailing or approval of your budget and all that. Even the COVID made most of them repatriate or invest in other safe havens. Some even changed cedis into dollars so that they can keep their dollars. So in the event of anything, they could just, dollar,
of
right?
Course.
So they could do anything with. So we were, in a way, not in a very good position. Okay. Then fast forward 2022 budget. which is supposed to be approved in 2021, where COVID was still in existence. Okay, the opposition then refused. Our budget was to be approved within November. It traveled. You have a budget where you want to generate your money, where you want to spend and all that. Then December comes, January comes, and then your budget is not approved.
But they cannot approve a budget if they feel like certain things have to be changed.
You see, it is purely politics.
Yeah.
Okay.
It happens everywhere.
So now let me tell you this. You listen to Honorable Adungu, okay, says that, hey, you've brought your budget. There are these elements you didn't even engage anybody, right? And then the finance minister is like, okay, you saying we didn't engage. Let's go out and engage. Then the same Honorable Adungu gets up in parliament and it's like, you are out there talking to people, but we have to approve your budget. Come to us. You understand? The budget process goes through the committee, okay, which comprises of the NDC and the MPP. So they were aware of everything, except, of course, they were sleeping. You understand? You were aware, but it comes to the plenary, and you are saying that you are not aware of this. So you
see, John, okay, so questions be what on, but let me ask this first before I go on the questions. With everything that is said, now, it doesn't change the fact that Ghana economy is in a mess now. And you know the economy is a responsibility of the government at the moment. Okay. Economy, no, government and a responsibility.
Right.
What I say? COVID, no, to say the number kasano. Okay, say COVID, it happens everywhere in the world. Right. But we have only Ghana and Sri Lanka. I go through this. It's other West African countries, no, Burkina Faso, Senegal, Togo, Nigeria. I don't know, hit it so hard. It must be something down a year. Yeah, and I'm a problem.
Can I ask you a simple question?
Go ahead, brother.
Have you considered their economies?
I have
those
not.
Countries, have you considered their economies?
I have not.
None of those countries, as we speak today, even though Ghana, we are going through some challenges, can compare to us. Not even Cote d'Ivoire.
In what terms?
Talk about GDP. Talk about anything. And you know what?
But our debt right now is even...
You see, even Japan. But you see, the issue we are faced with today is because we are not able to pay our debt. Okay, because we are not able to generate enough revenue to service all those debts. Okay, that is what we are looking at. Okay, and besides, if the government of today, okay, decides not to embark on any infrastructure development, okay, to relax on it all, then we'll be able to service our debts. Okay, but the government wants to develop the country. Okay, so we must sacrifice something. And what we want to sacrifice is to tell our people that, hey, now, if even you, like you was talking about the DEP program, okay, people have bought bonds and all that. Not that the government is not going to pay. Some, because of the noise that came around it, okay, some were not even ready to go in for their bonds and all that. But because of the noise, they decided, hey, we too come for our bonds. But when the finance minister began to begin to engage them. You see now there is some decency in the country, right? There is some quietness. So now the point is, now DDEP, we are in a distressed situation. Okay, the economy hasn't collapsed. We are just in a distressed situation. When you say collapse, it's like dead.
But that's the worst. That's the word. The worst the president used, though.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's the worst the president used.
But we are in a distressed situation because if they decide that, hey,
president the cross for Bichwado or say nyame memua.
That was a finance minister.
No. When president met with the clergy.
Okay.
Yeah, he said nyame memua is everything will shut down.
Of course.
That's what the president said.
Do you even know that the finance minister said economy came down in 2022? Did you realize that?
Yeah, that's what the president. That's what the finance minister said.
Did you realize that?
I didn't realize that.
Good, because there's a certain position they want to get to. Okay, they have a vision to set the country at a certain pace. Okay, and we are not getting that. So to them, okay, this is what they will say. Do you get the point I'm making? So we have every right to support the government in those policies. And besides, he's talking down one district, one factory. Let him tell us, okay, what the government needs to do. Okay, let him tell us. So you are shooting down a policy that will even see production in our country. Okay, yeah, be it the agri sector, be it in the industrial sector, and all that. And you are not giving me, or you are not giving us anything that we could do instead of just criticizing or condemning what is happening.
My question, and then we leave there, and then we can go.
Sure.
So, Adams, you that say, can he tell us the source when the finance minister was awarded as the best performing minister? It seems to be the Aba. Fellas, down qua advertisement. I have MTN, Vodafone, Tigo on a year already. About 4 years commercial. Fellas, I feel your vibe, man. In hard times, we think hard and desperate measures.
Of course.
I think that Danny Kwabena, your boy entry, Eddie, we never. Adams, Yoda, Ibrahim, or say Ghanaians will soon hear that the results of the unstable economy is as a result of the earthquake in Turkey. At least upon all this crisis, no doom, so people are being paid for their salaries. Free SHS is still ongoing. A lot of work is ongoing, etc. Let's support this government. Danny Kwabena, Yeboah entry. And so they are, or they ever, I don't know. Mom Sisibi Musa say, COVID tax, and about the yede.
That's
no, maybe, yeah. It's the question that goes to you. Mom Sisi, what the yede?
You see, during the COVID.
Oh no, the only minute about politics.
Oh, of course.
Anytime she is paying, she feels it. So she has it.
It's just a way of raising revenue, okay, to cushion some of the expenditures we may have incurred during the COVID period, right?
Let's say COVID year, about to whole Canada. Sika obudia basic aketwa. Okay.
You see, this is what it is. Now, in your COVID time, and I see a bar say, see a baby see vaccine center or Ghana. What I say? Vaccine center now, almost see biwa Sebe say ya biba na obinya code ne kakra na ya pass am we no more ton mine. Okay, COVID ya even the research sometimes so obi be mount si kebi say fire bibi crap no as a government no obeka say raise counterpart funding. Okay, counterpart funding you be say who as a government no be far away. But what I say? Then to go to your people and tell them, say, my people, this is what I want to do for you because you need it. It will help all of us. Okay, these people have pledged, promised, okay, to give this to us. Okay, but we need some counterpart funding. And let me tell you this: there have been several programs in Ghana, yenya funding from either the World Bank, IMF, all the international Ghana, even certain countries. Okay, but because we were not able to raise counterpart funding, so we would have made some noise about those programs. Oh yeah, but we were not able to raise counterpart funding. In the end, the program or the whatever thing we wanted to do for the people.
So basically, the COVID money is to use to cushion the system.
Cushion the system.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. You've exhausted your time. Let me go. But before I go to Edward, no. Before my commercials, no, and so and to the bill. Oh, United States in Kwan, they are now pay anything printing, right? In Kuala. I mean, normally I say, when it is a Ghanaian business, we don't have no choice than to support. If you are a Ghanaian, now be sorry if we had our day. Sika kwa koma staples, they are cooperative or they abra equal or then maybe free say one because you're not being fair to yourselves. Yamra name printing and name anything printing, t-shirts now open invoice, open rubber stamps, open what true book now open because I'm not publishing more. Mr. Kosijima Inkwell, they do all that. You know, what your book now be I'm not printing more. How many copies do you need? Copies be out here be newspaper now person all the ba Mr. Kosijima and then penning for or more bedi home jumama. Now I'm going back to my brother Edward. Eddie Obra, I can see. And you know what I love about today's discussion? The fact that I have an opposite and negative. And when I say opposite and negative, is you saying what you see, and then he's also seeing what the government is doing. You know? I like that, so we can have both perspective. You know, I really appreciate you guys for being here today with me.
First of all, no. Or Miss Team is say 1D, 1F. It's not a good thing. That's not what I mean. And what I mean is a nicely crafted is a good idea. Implementation.
On paper, they're a good idea.
Yes. I said here earlier, I said they are very good in branding. When it comes to policy branding, MPP is excellent at that. They know how to make it catchy, look very attractive, so that all Ghanaians will applaud them on paper. But when it comes to implementation, they are the worst. And that's the problem we have had. Because like what I'm saying, no, certainly all kind of public-private partnership and all that. But we hear these areas are every budget that goes to Parliament, there's monies allocated for this project, which is a very good one. Senka and Pampan Komudi was say or you are. And by now, no, some of them we shall have seen the effect of some of them. Jobs and Quebec creating be what these factories, the so-called factories, no, would have been producing by now. But so far, what has come out of it, right? And you know, they brand it, and then we don't get the effect. Planting for food and jobs. So who could you have 3-4 months ago, bro? Who could you have more? How many months? Right? And you know, some of these.
Let's say that say, Minchuano, minister, no, they will resign and say, also free Akoto. Also free Akoto, the but DNA, they buy, say what he has gained from the planting for food. And I'm just saying to help your point.
Yeah, so what I'm saying, they are good branding, a good thing, right? But senior or more canon, no. And the resource as is being displayed there. And can you say, yes,
if more implementing it here,
they're not implementing it well. That's the whole problem.
Okay.
That's my
argument
and emphasis. From the finance ministry to all these ministries, you know, they have on paper they are doing well, but implementation is wrong. Especially the agri the trade ministry, because just one to say one factory. It's a nice idea, I'm saying. But this is now what they call the one is one factory now. Like nobody's even working in there. And then the reason why we are where we are, I don't want to be also repeating ourselves. I'm moving from all that in previous argument. One, government bloating and duplicating state agencies and institutions. The major problem with that is one, or large size of government. And all these appointees, you know, they are in their V8 offices, allowances, and all monies are. That we could have saved the country a lot if we have managed to work with a certain limit or number of staff. Because our constitution doesn't give a cap. Job for the boys. Keep creating and duplicating functions and agencies. For instance, let me give one example. The 1D1F. We have Ministry of what? Trade and Industry, which is under it. What did they do? They went and created another secretariat to implement that. So you ask yourself, what are the civil servants who are being paid at the secretariat doing? Are the ministry doing?
That's
what they are there for. They are civil servants. You are just there as a minister to supervise in terms of policy and other things to get a ministry running. So if you go and create 1D1F secretariat, it's just job for the boys, loot and share. And when that happens, now the funds now also back to the ministry, no, near the secretariat. Now, that's why you don't see anything happening at the grassroots. Look, now can you a GMPC, right? These oil companies, you know, or more some contribution for human resource development, where they had a fund, people can apply to access that fund for further studies. Secretariat just to manage that fund. A secretariat to just manage.
Obviously, bureaucracy is killing
like all that is going on. The government is abusing power, just creating jobs for his people, whilst putting too much burden on the public purse. That's all the problem. He's just abusing power, wasting resources, creating unnecessary agencies and departments or institutions, whatever it is, causing duplications and wasting state resources. That is one of the reasons why we are where we are. And I've just given you examples. Right? There are some secretary they are market here and for so they are just creating jobs for the people, diverting funds so that they can control it the way they want it, and then to the detriment of the country. This has been going on.
Okay.
So, we share and say Yanka this resolution by I think you even if all replace you and somebody like maybe the finance minister could have changed at the same time, or ABI to say the minister of state in charge of finance. You could have just decided to maybe
Scrap that.
Okay. Because the minister of finance have two the deputies. You ask yourself, are we getting results from them? People have complained, said that your government is too large. So, and with all these numbers, what are they doing? Look at the creation of the 6 new regions. What happens? Because you have to provide regional offices, ministers, like
securities, coordinators, and
these are ways. Government now put
some
of them were not necessary.
Okay.
Some of them are not necessary. It's just putting too much burden on the coffers or the public purse, loosen the focus, what we need to grow as a country. So until a government, decisions, any policies be or mateki, and you find ourselves in a ditch. The other thing I know when I say it the way people will think politics. But Nanado, his cousins, and Faramata, the party, what they are doing as far as running the country is concerned is loot and share. Loot and share. And that is one of the reasons why we are where we are. And I'll give an example what I mean by that. You remember PDS?
Yeah, PDS, yeah.
PDS, they came out with a so-called, say, I will take over. I manage our energy sector, right? They had something they need to bring in. They came in with false papers, took over, took charge, collected monies that up till date they have not accounted for. You see how they crafted it? Just come out with a name, we are taking over, and that's it.
You honestly believe that's what the government is doing? Don't you think it's harsh when you say
example? No, I just mentioned it. PDS. Everybody know about PDS. Is it a new thing?
Yeah, it's not. But when you say government Nakochedia, don't you think it is?
No. But J energy levies. Did I account for it? Did I account for it?
Okay.
Almost taking charge. They didn't account for it, and nobody has been arrested. Yansha Amiridale. What happened to Amiridale? Where they sacrificed Jakon, who's about the minister was?
Bache Jakon.
What did they do? They criticized the previous government said, "Why negotiate here?" And it wasn't in the interest of the country. Omukori negotiate as save with the country money. What is that argument?
Yeah.
We have the communication minister and all, like everybody everywhere defending how good they are trying to save the country. What was the end result? They were not going to double the amount that they were exercising the previous government for. And the president, a skilled lawyer, and all the over 1,000 people now, the presidency, the functions are more and the lawyers around him read through. He is a lawyer. He signed it, e go do pa no omu ho ya he or mu da akwa scapegoat say we deceive omo. You think Ajako only the decision?
Officer president in any movie.
He signed it before the president was asked something to do. Do you know the number of people who read through and advise him? They just use him as a scapegoat. This is how they planned to rob the country. Look at.
Tufi said the will to build the country.
It's not there. Yes. Okay. This government, all that they are doing is loot and share. I'm giving you an example. I can give you so many examples. Another example here. This Galamsey Hotel. Oban also about Boyusu, Anas principle, right? Anas Galamsey expose. What happened? People who were seen taking bribes and other things were rather given a new and a better appointment. Rather given a new and a better appointment. Is that how we run the country? And what they have ended up doing, is to chase out the ordinary Ghanaians now out, and then the government top officials like Chamawun to me, John Bodi and Co. They are now say gurus in the country. They bring in the Chinese counterparts and all the big machines doing Galamsey in the country. Right? Ajapa royalties. You remember that?
Yeah, Ajapa.
Do you know what they were going to do?
Trim.
Almost the Ghana your royalties from all our minerals now. And if 500 million they bring now almost going forward, all the royalties will go to those individuals. And guess what? Faceless individuals. Who was involved in that? Almost someone want to say, there's a word they use for it.
To help you?
Safe havens. Tax having the JC, right? So and it's a group of organizations that just like Uber registered to come home. You ma emo din se bia wona ebia organization there. Because of the ill intent.
Ill intent.
Ill intent, okay. And because of the faces that were involved, they decided to go through that route. And Kietnaha, Amumato Ghana. And yet Ghanaians, yes, originally, you kiki against that Japan royalties now. And Kietana, your boxer, you go near how royalties in Nano. Nanka some few people within the government going forward, the royalties will go to them. Oh, so look at the trial. Data Bank, this guy, Gabi, Africa Legal Associate, Ken, right? This trial, all the loans, the 455 million now, government contract loans, no. This trade group, no, have their commissions in. Because he's providing legal services, the data bank. Is
that conflict of interest?
Of course. From day one, we all know that. And any loan they take, either you say Ken or data bank have a commission, serving as what? The broker in there. And then legal services, Gavi. So the government is benefiting from any loan they take, and that is why the loan, the borrowing spree, goes on and on and on and on and on. So they are serving their parochial and personal interests, not in the interest of the country. These are the reasons why we are where we are. And when we run away from facts, and the reason why we are where we are, and now and then we are where we are, now we'll see with my people haircutter. It doesn't make any sense. And that's why the former chief justice is asking those questions. Where is the money? Sir, yeah, my kid look at say, those excuses you can keep giving them. But these are the realities. The government is serving the personal interest.
Yes.
Individuals to be.
The government is serving the personal interest. Edward smile, I don't know. Afro 614 no was so good so and then come on I had the pa. Come on here this year time like kokra. Yes, I'm going back to John and John Beto Aswama. John, why are we still here? Why are we here?
You see, it sounds funny though, but I'll put it anyway. I think we are, as a people, we have problems with every solution. That is how I see it.
Like you say, Ghanaians, like as Ghanaians, we have problem with every solution.
Some of us are here Ghana for because say me tie me brother and say me bro can me say either say in same ni bi on tonable any then NTT mu yi.
Okay.
But what said the noise around it? Okay, NT he's also championing the same noise. Okay, say Oshe even my main can about this DDEP. Okay. So debt restructuring rate. Unfortunately, no engagement now started earlier, and not early enough before I did the ever. Okay, so the government then begins to engage with the people. Okay, and you're compulsory. We are distressed. Okay, so
like okay, say compulsory. What you mean?
So DDP no compulsory ma individual bondholders near the idea no.
Okay.
So what I say? Say tenchina ya way ya restructure and say. Okay. If you want to help the government, say we are distressed. Okay. Instead say me Jimmy Sikano. And I me dividend and I interest be at this time. No. Okay. Me train kakra. Now government and the structure now we put in place. Say maybe 3, 4, 5 years. Meet your way. And may you say. Oji 2 more. So what I say? Fine. Then you are part of it. Now we see can say government, preparing who say she scan the idea or the amount. Okay, because when him so over some time kakra. Okay. Correct. Campaigners, individual bondholders, Oman no mudi omonim. What's this guy's name? Escaping. They've been paid. Oman subscribing to the DDEP no. They've been paid.
So basically, what the heck, what the haircut means, and they say, government. That's what it is.
We are distressed because at the debt service.
Okay.
Sisia yene German papia o kind of saying
ambassador.
Ye ka ye demoni ade ni nyina no. Mo ngumu man na say dia mo betum de a chair no kra mo nyeden. Mo fenchen. Nti e bi foreign and e bi so ye local. Okay. Nti yen ye local for no. Okay. And I ye ka say pensions for the wom. Say mo pension for bi di musika it's a and we senate for more tier BBBBB. I think that tier 3 or tier 2, right? And no more investing into bonds and all those things there. Into government say, okay, Sasika we know we invest into bonds near there, which is of me government, no. Okay, munya abo tre mame. Me tiano, me staga, me renegotiate. Okay, into instance say be this year, me tiamo can this year no, mesremo. Okay, more mame. It be another year. Me too. Individuals so more go through bonds and those things. More so mesrem. More mommy way. Then we may compulsory by force. Okay. Inti what compulsory by force me sure it will be sorry. Yeah. And
I'm laughing too.
So what I say? Inti mame mrekakra. Na mean to see kanema. Nemu because ye per se ye restructure your debt no. Okay, into mo amobe no fine. Into omo
but say any panic say but
omo man no even omo way much
is that a sustainable way to go about this? Because it seems say how many Ghanaians will say okay, I'm going to give money to the government to do that?
No, you are not giving money to the government.
Like this kind of government, and postpone the payment.
Good.
That's all it is. How many people will be willing? Is that a sustainable way?
See, you raise our fees. We've closed our fees. Into almost year say they will subscribe to it. No, almost subscribe here. And our government because say unya about 80-something%. Almost subscribe here. Okay, but more man subscribe. No, Omo bonds near the amateur name. They've been sorted out. But what I say? Now, me person me baby, especially with the PDS, no can me interest or open. Okay, PDS, no, I'm not sure. I'm sorry, my brother, but I'm not sure. Say what tonebo if follow. This travels far back. Time at NDC.
We know in Mohammed's administration.
Yes. I didn't now start it first time. Okay, I'm obey N1. Sa N1 kwano. Yeah, a dollar pass I call your friends.
St. John's anymore.
Accra Mall. Your friend Tetequashi to Malam. And no, years on feeder roads, be no money at the idea. Even Gempa, Fiesta Royale to Gempa, a Kobomu way tree home, Nina, a mida DNB. Then it came said there is a second compact. America for almost say almost person boy. But what I say, into second compact now, and they want to support our energy sector. Okay, so this is what happens. Almost say some bet me boy. Okay, I just said the management of ECG, you know, CD to another company or something. Into international way, people came in bed and all that. And say Philippines who said then we need okay, which time the crowd before they even won or not MPP crowd opposition. Okay, but yaba power and you better to as well Philippines for we winning. Okay, they came. They in the contract, no. I mean they were supposed to have given us a bank guarantee.
Okay.
Then they issued an insurance guarantee. Okay, they were working perfectly. Okay, even NDC for the propaganda. Okay, so PDS and MPP 4 So now let me tell you this. This is being supervised by America, MIDA. Okay, it's supervised by them, MIDA. Look at this. Then Ghana government says there is too much noise about this PDS thing. Okay, what should the contract documenting? And the way who say instead of even Philippines and my bank guarantee, no mama the insurance guarantee. On that note, no, they did not act in good faith. Okay. So in that case, Ghana government can abrogate the contract. Patuti how? Ghana government can do what? Abrogate the contract. There and then, and America through me that no say no, you will not abrogate the contract. It is a corruption be what? What America say no, don't abrogate the contract. To the extent to say they were to give us $190 million.
But why was the government on official acting in good faith in abrogating?
You understand? They acted in bad faith, and even beside that, now I say, we are a proud nation. We know what we are about. Philippines, you understand? Saying to Philippines for now, do you get my point? Until we are able to manage our own affairs. Just that we are distressed. In that case, America even opted not to give us the $190 million because we were abrogating the contract, or we abrogated the contract. Into corruption now can if America says, if you abrogate this contract, I'm not giving $190 million. Okay, but if you keep it, I'm going to give you $190 million. Into me, I'm a corrupt na me did $190 million. Best thing about me hono. Okay, me say no, me pay $190 million. $190 million. No crisis.
I think more of what he's saying, it's more of things could have been done better than how things has been done.
No, how better?
Maybe that's the question I will have
probably
to
should ask him. How better?
But
because we've signed a contract. Okay, and in the contract we were all to act in good faith. You understand? And we're acting in bad faith. And I say we don't want it anymore. Ghana government now.
So what happened to the like I'm trying to understand. You know, you explained it. They see president.
It has nothing to do with PDS.
Ameri. Oh, that was a Mary deal. Yes. Bye. Go ahead.
Yes. So you understand. So with the PDS, he can tell us where the corrupt or the corruption element he's talking about, a lie. What I say. He can tell us. Then he also talked about duplication of secretariat and setting up other government secretariat, and even spoke about large size of government. Look, before NDC left power, okay, they had 10 regions. Even with the creation of new regions, if we have more time, I'll explain some few things.
Okay.
Okay. Look, NDC had 10 regions, right? With the 10 regions and the same size as a country, they had 85 ministers. Okay, with some taking double salaries. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Thank you very much.
But what have you done about it?
You see, we have institutions. The president cannot arrest anybody.
You see, and that is where some of us are the frustrations.
Yes.
Let me put this on record. Say, I'm one of the guys that campaigned for Nado in the 2016 elections, and on record, he told us say he's going to fight corruption, and if say Obibe kanokra Ghana ni biya kanokra, Nado was primarily voted
to fight corruption. Yes, I'll come there. Even with that, I'll come there.
Yeah,
okay, I can speak on that subject.
Okay.
You see, so even with 10 regions, same size Ghana, they had 85 ministers. Okay, and I'm saying some took double salaries. Okay, which you
like remember. Okay. The way I will see address, you address it. Say the way NDC.
No, I'm not addressing him as an NDC. But I mean the points he made. The points he made.
Oman Adwuma So he is pointing out why he seems to be wrong in the system.
Right.
Okay, and I see you also referring to the old government.
Yes.
Oh, you're spokesperson for the old government.
That is fine.
Okay,
fine.
all right.
But I want to.
But
paint the structure.
All right,
okay,
all right.
That if what are the standards? What are the benchmarks? Okay, we live in a country, and let me put on record. I have worked with the government before. 2011, I was with the Ministry of Trade and Industry until I left.
Why?
Okay, so this is what it is. Okay, sometimes you even have a minister travel and documents are lying in his office because chief director cannot sign it. The minister has to look at it. You understand? So if sometimes people are like, hey, the size of government is this, is that, sometimes I sit down quietly and then I'm like, what's happening? Do we really appreciate what's going on? Do you understand?
But you see, it's not the job of the Ghanaian to appreciate what is going on. Ghanaians just want things to be fixed.
Of course, and
you
can't fix things.
But if we are living in a nation,
right,
that the prices of commodities.
Yes.
To say me say yeah layman.
Right.
That's how we look at it. Like prices of commodities just get up from 1 cedi to 6 cedi.
Let me give you a funny scenario. When the government came to power, decided to say, oh, we need to cushion the private sector. Guta. You bring in so many things and all that. So let me do this. Benchmark. Okay. Policy be no diaba. Since o de nyoma ba, and nyoma no cry or say uti ebia $100. Or say okay, o de $50 and the yen shani can wasem. But Ghanaian no price no to ade or market remained the same.
It's still the job of the government though.
No. We are not operating a command economy.
But
okay, we are not operating a command economy where you can say, hey, everybody sell this $1. Even this in so we box in now, say be at $6 and $5. Mebwa. And so can you back see as well.
Yeah, that is very true.
You see, and even in the same context, Ghana, you may go to a hotel, you know the price of one water, and then Obesayako. Ebi abu blue shana and even hotel na nchen lady be or tom pure water obviously could be about this or be a different price. You understand? Look, we all owe it as a duty to make Ghana what we want Ghana to be. You understand? Sa abane support na wa so obebua unuano abane o se o me kon me bu na we nsomu a me jemu. You see, you destroying your own self. Now let me come back to with the large size governments now or Kanwasem. So my brother, I want viewers, okay, to appreciate the fact say even with 6 new regions created, MPP has 86 ministers. Okay, and with the 86 ministers, majority even pay cut of 30%. And they are all operating on their MPs, your friend is saying, emolument,
but say be a per diem ne allowances ne ade no.
It comes with.
Sometimes that's how it appears. But who more people? There's no way if you have more people, you're not gonna spend more.
Let me ask this simple question.
Go ahead, brother.
Okay, sometimes it becomes funny, and I begin to wonder what is happening. Have you checked on the appointment committee?
No.
Do you know the number of people that sit around that table?
As when you say appointment committee, what you mean?
Of Parliament, appointment committee of Parliament.
Those I don't know how many people. Oh, the people that vote. Or how many?
Yes.
How many people that sit on it?
I want you to do that research.
Okay.
So that the next time you see just one person that is being vetted. You see the number of people that sit around the table, both NDC and MPP. Nobody talks about it. Okay, just one person being vetted. You understand? But when it comes to
the opposite say
yes,
a benefit to more.
You
That's what you're trying to say.
You see it, but when it has to do with the entirety of the country, the nation, okay, then those who have problems with every solution will come at it.
But isn't that the job of the government to make sure so all these things are not supposed to happen? If you see a problem with that,
yes,
the appointment committee, if you see a problem with that, is that not the job of the government?
You see, I am not even saying that I'm not a proponent of.
Who say no a problem? You don't see it's a problem.
I mean, if it's
but you see when we went to the IMF,
right.
IMF catcher say yemra cut expenditure.
Right.
Exactly the same thing this guy
yes.
say. They said the Obo rulers watch our cost. Right. So it's an insult to.
Right.
Don't you think says these desperate times here here desperate measures and some of these things have to go. You know, I normally see say like even as you are speaking right now, you're comparing it to the NDC government what they did, of which we all saw what the government did, and then we kicked them out. They suffered the biggest loss in the history of our Fourth Republic, right? Because we felt say. But that's the same thing that you're also doing.
So you see, I have mentioned two things. Okay, if you've been following my line of argument, I've mentioned South Korea, I've mentioned Japan, okay, and I've mentioned what they did way back in the 1960s. Okay, the very things we are doing today. Okay, the very things we are doing today, they did it in the early 60s, 70s. When you go to China opened up in the 1978. Okay, but it took them time, okay, and continuity to get to where they are today. Okay, so look, I said this and I'll say it again. Just look at even Ghana card. I had when former President Kufuor, okay, started it. I had it. I was at Gempa then. Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration. They came there, they took a picture, they did a Ghana card, they did not bring it to me, but I went to the head office of NIA at Shiashi, okay, around the Tetekwashi area. I went there, I had a small paper they gave me, I showed it to them, they pulled it. So it was until this new one that they took the old one from me. Okay, so assuming it had continued, the benefit we say obi wo green card wo kro we mu kro utumedeka na utuane nkakra so what I say you live life at Ghana e be 60-70 years and I will believe you even live it at your youthful stage in this country. That is where we want to get Ghana to.
But
now,
with that policies now in place,
yes,
we are still in a serious situation that experienced before.
Because see, let me put this one here. You see, we are building the country. Okay, so now see. And Nyoma kebema ye as a government. Yeah, they charm for. Okay, said the beya a man for ebe to me ejina, not otinano, or mama or minus riding ejina. Because if you mention one Bill Gates, you know what Bill Gates does, right? If you mention Jeff Bezos, you know what one Jeff Bezos can do. Mark Zuckerberg, you know what he can do. So we need to create millionaires, billionaires in our country. So now look, under the one district, one factory, and I make us say, be understanding in was you are important and you're here to set up. Okay, because you want to have a radio station. Usika ye be 100,000. Okay, and your we would be a duty near the 20,000. Okay, then you go through the one district, one factory. Ebi crowd office crowd you can't even get a land. Okay, then government says because you've come under the one district, one factory, I will help you secure the land. Okay, we secure land, Then I will help you also go through I'll help you go through the financial system to secure the loan. Okay, into a make Kamema who are to make bank my bank in $1 million. Okay, but then I'm start buying it time or they may call bank or honor bank and say, oh, because you have the backing of the press of the government, I'll give you the $1 million. Interest now was maybe 20%. I'll buy say my 10%. Automatic. Okay. Now what Baba set it up. Now who set it up? You need all these machines. Into machines now we crab because we need $1 million. Who crown your marban? Ebia LC a due duty of Ebia 20,000. I buy say and I'm say me person set it up. Now we now bear from now bear ke CNT duty now say me John Kramenya den. Menjo. Okay, bra now be set it up. Now Baba set it up.
Minya. Mama 2 minutes is all there, so now I'm fat the akama.
So you see, this is how we grow an economy. Okay, we cannot eat our cake and have it. Okay. You cannot be.
Do you think say the government, because it seems that his problem is with implementation? Do you think that the government could have done anything better? Summit in 2 minutes.
You see, that is why I was saying we have problems with every solution. Okay, look. I spoke about Samsung, didn't I?
Yes,
they had a challenge. What did they do? When you go to Japan, they have a concept they call Kaizen, continuous improvement. Okay, that is our motto. We always say it in Ghana. Hey, government implementation, who implements what? The civil servants, they do not implement. They are policy makers. Okay, it is the public sector. Okay, and then the private people that implement. Okay, so for instance, with this one district, one factory, Waba, Abayama 1 million. Okay, set up your way, Abaya Babashe. Oh, why say, oh, yeah, Diana, along the line, Abia, would baby for baby no way, Janekwa. Then I'll buy bay.
It's a government responsibility to make sure. It is their
responsibility. But, Mami, simple example. It is even in the news. Dan Adams, he became AGI president, right? He had taken fictitious documents to ECOWAS headquarters in Lomé, Togo. Okay. Later, when they were going through the documents, and they realized, fictitious documents, no, the other. Meanwhile, they had given him enough money to even set up with AIDS, retroviral drugs.
When they were supposed to do their background check.
You see, no. Sometimes, okay, and you need before you even part. Sometimes it is after. And some contracts are even abrogated. Why? It is when you discover, say, Nipano and Yenyo maybe, okay, in the process of time. And I say, oh yeah, dear, no, one year be correct. Okay, then you can abrogate.
Minya, medase.
Thank you.
Eddie, 5 minutes or so, I can 9 minutes spare, and then come on, I had also the cash be but 5 maybe 2 minutes so I
wouldn't say Oman 22 minutes.
Yeah, I did. It did because it did okay about 5 because everybody about 50.
Yes.
And I also know the yellow so may interject take a cry. 80. Yeah. But about 5 for that for you going.
So first of all, no, I want to correct that impression I put it out say I mean, research here and American.
Oh, that's not what I'm saying.
You've created that impression a couple of times. I just decided not to because keep saying say maybe I mean homework. I've not read about it. I listen to what the public is saying in American. I think that is not whatever I say here. No, I either read the backing of it or I give a critical example. The PDS, maybe point in say
right.
Apart from the fact now, what I agree with me is bad faith and other reasons.
Right.
Why that should be abrogated. the period they were in charge, or much revenue, which is the electricity bills. 1 year abrogated the contract, no, did they refund any money to the state? That's my question.
Okay.
And why are we not retrieving that money?
The government is failing to retrieve that money.
Yes, because they had opportunity to collect this money from, and they have gone away with it. They came with this insurance, that bad faith thing, all that she said. May I agree with him? I'm not agreeing with that. But but they were in charge for some period. Where is that money? And we are not prosecuting anybody. Right, that's my first point.
I do understand.
The other point, the other thing about, now talk about say Ghanaians are not feeling the theories they spew out there. Right? You remember this Baumia famous theory on the
fundamentals are
they expose you. Say Obi Ghana, no better idea what Hanamo. For instance, I mean, I've always had an example. Mesadi, example.
Okay.
Oh, jasmine rice.
Jasmine, yeah.
The price have stayed stable for a very long time. At the time, I would talk maybe a jasmine rice for $17. If the estimate was like 6 Ghana cedi to $1. Now, multiply the rate by that 6 now. How much would the price be? Right? And what's the exchange rate? What told the same dollar amount, which has not changed, but now the exchange rate at double. What price should a person pay?
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Because independent auto, they don't want to produce you. And he is buying this in what? In dollars. These are some of the effects of what that bad economic fundamentals and parameters the exchange rate is exposing them. As Baumia popular, the most famous quote, or can it be? And we have a problem as a country. And admitting the realities. Now, young are approaching it head on. And we keep defending the indefensible. Then we will continue to remain in a ditch. Right? If the finance ministry will not start reporting things as supposed to, be compliant and apply what our acts and our laws requires of him. Next say be a mutuous karma asimasi minimunity. Say tax also oje onye. Now around the day no, you find ourselves where we are. MY. Secondly, the interests are and the conflict of interest of the finance minister Gabi and Co in any government borrowing now is one of the biggest problems. Sometimes
trust the crime.
They know what they are gaining from each loan they take because they have hidden interest. Right? Anna, see a Boruska, they are invested in projects a bit majority funds. I'm yet to back the loan. They won't borrow money for consumption and other things and to generate revenue. We will continue to go in the same direction. Right? So as a country, it is time to say we wake up and then hold the government accountable. And to me, I don't think it's just me, all Ghanaians are wondering why the finance minister cannot resign.
But he's now been taking pay for some time.
So, so when you pay,
what keeps you over there?
I didn't want to see it.
So
because of which idea free, you want to think about it twice. That tells you at the back end, he know the ways and means they make all their monies. And that's why already it's just on paper. It's just on paper because let's assume a new minister comes decide not to use data bank again. He's going to lose a lot of money than they pay nowadays.
Eddie, that's it. Mama, one first was mama. Final conclusion.
Final conclusion. I can say PDS issue, I mean, when they took charge of your friend is saying ECG account ni BBR no more. Okay, when they were kicked out, everything came back to ECG. Okay, now let me talk a little bit about the conflict of interest. Meaning say where say Parliament for Furiata. Finance Minister. I know it be on any problem, Parliament, but Parliament friend to tone about this conflict of interest in some same year. It could be, what was the conclusion? Okay, we all owe it a duty as a people. Say you best support it, okay, and your man a bebo mine, especially so say, and a beer a buying winner, diaba. I don't align to their policies and all that. But could be they also who say in the larger interest of the country, will be okay. Until support it. In conclusion, I think say we'll come back some other time to continue
part 2
on this issue of
Eddie was for conclusion.
Yeah, so again, I think like I just said, and I think I've said it here before, and like he was also trying to portray. Sometimes, they target with kind of political colors.
Oh no, exactly. Yeah.
Like I said,
you have the facts
before I came here, I've always been a shock commentator. Okay, so I knew that.
So me last week, let me end this scene. This week, me a BV.
No, I'm kind of fine. Who belong to the other side.
Yeah.
But other than that, I thought for agent.
Oman Adwuma.
And say omuhunu and the power moon the cano. They find something good in it. Oman far. Boy as a country.
Right.
But today, be honest, say, Obi belong to or government is not a kind of piano who say, as or attack government as a beer on peg government as a beer and Pebina or time manner. We always get it wrong.
Right.
But that's it, Eddie. That's pa. That is the beauty of politics. The moment this guy is happy, the less moment, That's what Baba said. That guy is bad. Politics, Yeah, and say, me da munyina say. Na answer na me free, you be free hand I'm say yes, sister Bako. Yes, sister Bako, your friend or Priscilla Abeta Dakwa, Columbus, Ohio. Your birthday, enjoy your day. Why? Happy birthday. You know what I will show. Happy birthday. Mr. Edwards, go ahead.
Me can say Ochna MPP for more Columbus year for
Mama 1 minute why new announcement. MPP for
year World Charisma Ministry or Charisma World Ministry Morse Road so into 4 o'clock
okay. Yeah, the MPP for the Monkaibo. No. Me da Edward smile as said the debut and John Bat. But as a pa, I been sure mo say munina mo ba ha mama ya bedi adwuma so no ya yedi. Ninjina ye Oman Adwuma Ghana ho ne ye dey. Ye dwendwene. Etisi ye tena ha kan bibi na say anko yi amamo e be pa munina macho. Otifi na say bi e kan bibi na am wrong information. You can also help us to correct the narrative out there. Better will be ase. That's an answer. You better say